evening, everyone. Thank you for attending tonight's performance of the Vicenza High School Drama Club performance of Tuna Eulogy. Thank you so very much for coming here tonight. It's wonderful for you to support the performing arts in our community and in our schools, and we really appreciate you being here. This is a very intense drama. It's not an easy play to do. It's written in ladder format. If you've read the back of the programs, you will know that the play can be very confusing because many of the actors speak at the same time. So it can be hard to follow the storyline and the dialogue. Please read the back of the program if you haven't had a chance to do so. It'll give you a little bit of a heads up as to what is actually happening in the play. These students have worked so very hard to do this. It is a play written for high school students to perform, for advanced drama students to perform, and it is a play that is written for high school audiences. So the material is actually very timely for our time. The teenage suicide rate is very, very high in the United States especially, and the play deals with that issue and many, many others. And ultimately, you're the judge of this trial format that happens here. You may walk away with more questions than answers than the play gives, but that's part of what theater is meant to do sometimes. So we hope that you come away with many questions, maybe some insights, and that you, above all, appreciate the time, dedication, commitment that these students put in to be able to reach this caliber of performance. I am very, very proud of them. I want to thank Soldiers Theater and especially Mr. Barry Robinson for working so hard. You notice the lobby looks pristine, and that is thanks to Barry's work, and also to Ross Daniels, the former director of the theater, who worked so very hard to make the renovation happen, to get the funds. Jim Shore for his generosity through the Youth Entertainment Program. MWR here in our community strongly supports community theater, and we're very, very grateful for that. So please, after the show, come out, enjoy the lobby, enjoy the goodies, refreshments that we have out there, chat with these very talented high schoolers, and enjoy yourselves. I want to just point out the emergency exits to your right and to your left. Remind you to turn those cell phones off or put the ringers off so that we don't have any cell phones going off in the middle of the show. If you have babes in arms or young children and they get restless, please take them out into the lobby. Thanks to high-tech technology, we've got the show on the monitor out there where the football game was. You can actually watch the play and hear it out there. So you won't miss a thing if you have to go out into the lobby. And please enjoy the show, and thank you again for your support.
Holy, 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 all the saints adore thee, casting down their golden crowns around a glassy sea.
My fingers.
I can feel my fingers.
I can feel the blood in my fingers.
Life is breathing in me.
I'm alive.
I'm so young.
I'm 18 again.
My fingers. I can feel the warmth.
I can feel the rose in my cheeks.
Where are we?
My skin.
Albert.
My skin hasn't felt this young in years.
My hair. My hair is young again, full of life. Life is breathing in me.
Albert.
Who's that? Is somebody there?
Albert?
I'm here.
I can't see. Who's there?
We don't have to.
I'm ready.
Albert?
You can go anytime.
Let's get started.
What did you say? You didn't buy milk? You didn't
I
buy
didn't buy
milk.
milk.
I gave you $2 and you
Well, you
didn't
said
buy
that I could...
So, Albert, what did you buy?
Tuna fish.
We are gathered here today to celebrate a life.
Tuna
A
fish.
life far shorter than it should have been, but a life nonetheless.
I had to move away after my son died.
Albert Scully.
I always wanted the other
I was
kids to meet
suspect for a
Zanzibar.
while because of,
He was 12 years old.
No one ever would.
well, there
I was
were
gonna
rumors.
legally change it when I
Aren't
was
there
old enough,
always? And there,
but
He
Well,
I
was
Albert.
died in Albert.
there wasn't any real evidence against me. They tried to prove I was a bad mother.
A good mother would never have had those tins there in the first place.
The only fingerprints were his and the sitter's. And
Too
she said
old
she
for
was
a
trying to take the
sitter.
cans away.
Albert.
And after they found his diary,
Today we played hide and seek.
Albert, where are you hiding?
I don't want to play.
Fair's fair. It's my turn now.
Don't want to play.
I was a suspect for a while. But the police and the doctors all said it was
Suicide.
Albert knew what he was doing. He was
He
a
was
smart
not
boy.
a normal child.
The people blamed me. The
We could
neighbors
have
blamed
saved him
me.
in so many
The
ways.
neighborhood- I'm sorry. What's the matter?
For
Nothing.
heaven's
I
sake,
just...
this is going
Go
to
on,
take
Mom.
all day. Couldn't you have found a better place? I can't get the dust off my fingers.
Mom?
I was just thinking,
Yeah?
it's cold. I was distracted.
Can we get on with this?
You haven't changed. Your face hasn't
It's
I
changed.
have
been
to be
12
home
years.
on time to fix dinner. Albert,
This is my story.
this is Albert's story.
I hear people say my mom's crazy.
She's crazy.
I was young. I was a single mother. Not too many of us out in the open in those days. I felt out of place.
Mrs. Scully.
No Mrs. Cherry. It's just Miss Scully, or you could call me.
Miss Scully. All right, Miss Scully.
Cherry always used to say...
Cherry always used to say things against me to Albert. I didn't stay at home.
Albert, I would love to take you home.
Why, Cherry?
My mom would bake you cookies and iron your clothes.
He was always wrinkled.
I bought cookies.
And let you take piano lessons.
I don't want to take piano lessons.
Albert,
didn't
you would
have
love
any
them.
extra
No, I
money.
wouldn't.
I know what's best.
Trust me, Albert. That's what she used to say. Almost every day.
Nobody said anything, not to my face, but I could hear the whispers when I went out, when I walked down the street.
Miss Scully, who does she
Who
think
does
she
she think
is,
she
trading
is,
her
Miss Scully?
unchristian ways
Who
as
does
if
she
she were
think
better
she
than
is,
us?
Miss
Nose
Scully?
in the air, walking up and down without a husband,
Walking up and down.
up and down the good clean streets of our good town.
I'm sure they still talk about it today.
That's where she let that child die. Right on the kitchen floor.
Albert was 12 years old. He was quiet. He was thin. He was unhappy. He loved the choir. He used all this in book just so whenever we sang.
Holy,
Albert, hush.
He wanted to join the choir, and I said he had to wait till he was 13. He was wearing one of his button-down shirts that always seemed to be wrinkled. He was always wrinkled.
Honestly, Albert, doesn't your mother take care of you?
Stop fussing at me.
I take care of him.
Why was Albert unhappy? It makes my heart ache to know about the pain that lived inside of him. Albert should have had the chance to live a full life. He should have been playing baseball and hating homework and meeting friends after school at the skating rink.
It's not fair!
Don't raise your voice at me.
Why can't I stay by myself?
Because I said so.
That's your answer for everything.
It works, doesn't it?
I'm 12 years old. Nobody has a sitter when they're 12.
I don't care how old you are. You're having a sitter, and that's that.
Sitters are for babies. That's why they're called babysitters.
I'm not leaving you alone. The discussion is closed.
Don't you trust me? When are you gonna let me stay by myself? When I'm 100?
101.
That's not funny. Don't do that!
Albert,
Mom?
what didn't I know?
Cherry's coming.
The discussion is
Doesn't
closed.
have to
Look,
be her.
Cherry is
I just don't
crossing
wanna
the
sit.
street.
Can't I have
What's
someone
wrong
else?
with Cherry? I thought you liked
just don't
having her
wanna
here.
sit her.
Look, Cherry is crossing the street, and I have to get to work.
What's the matter?
I don't know. I don't know. Something. He doesn't listen to me anymore, and we fight so much.
He's 12 years old. It's perfectly normal.
You only see him on Sunday
I'm gonna scream.
So go.
Finally. He's 5 years old. I'm babysitting. I live across the street. So one day, I'm reading while I'm sitting, and all of a sudden it's quiet, which is a bad sign, because when they're loud, you know where they are, right? When
What?
How?
they're quiet, that's trouble.
Did you buy?
Did it happen?
And I thought,
Do you know
I never
he's dead.
suspected.
Or choking.
how much tuna
Or
costs?
something.
I trusted
Here I
you,
was
Albert.
reading
I
about
didn't
exactly-
know how I
You
knew
never
about
trust
it.
me.
Excuse me!
Sorry.
Thank you.
He had a favorite hymn.
Where was I?
You were 12.
Thank you. I'm only 12 at the time. Probably too young to be
That's too
babysitting.
young.
She
But
wasn't
I
too
got
young.
better
If
didn't
I hadn't been so
I
tired,
babysat
I
Albert
would've
for
make
6 years,
excuses.
didn't I? And I'm 12 and
I'm 5.
he's 5.
Much too young.
He should never have been left alone with a sitter at 5 years of age.
I hated leaving him with anyone, but I had to work, didn't I?
Hey,
I had
hey,
to work.
we're not
I
here to
would
hear
not take
excuses.
money from anyone.
This is my
I wouldn't
story.
take
You
from
don't
my
wanna do
parents,
this.
so I
This is
had
facts.
to work. I
Whatever
did the
you
right
say.
thing.
Excuse
did the
me,
right
I
thing.
am talking! I was told everyone was going to get a chance to talk. Didn't you say that? Everyone, right?
Everyone.
So it's my turn.
Why do you get to go before I do?
Well, excuse me. I was there too,
Yo,
you know.
so was I.
It's my turn, Albert.
I don't like this. I don't like this.
You want to talk? Fine. Talk.
I've put a lot of thought into this. It's been a few years now, and I've got children of my own now, and what? Why are you looking at me like that?
Nothing. Go on.
So anyway, he was fine. He was sitting on the kitchen floor in front of the cupboard where the canned goods are, and he had 10 or 12 tuna cans stacked in small towers.
7, 8,
He was as happy as happy could be.
12.
The only time I ever saw Albert smile was when he was listening to the choir.
Over the years, I always knew where Albert was. Right in front of that cupboard where the canned goods are. It wasn't normal. Who plays with tuna cans?
If I'd been allowed to live.
Albert, don't say it like that.
He was 12 years old, for heaven's sake. He was not a normal child.
Be 24.
What happened today?
Today, Cherry gave me a haircut.
You're a disgrace. Sit in that
What
chair.
haircut?
Do as I tell you.
It looks nice.
She cut my ear.
What if I...
Did it bleed?
What if I...
Ow! Cherry, that
Don't
hurt!
be a
You
baby
did it on
and sit
purpose!
still.
It looks nice.
She cut my ear.
Did it bleed?
Don't you dare get blood in my sheets, Albert.
No, I guess not.
Which was it? Did you bleed or not?
I don't remember. Let's move on.
My mother thought I didn't know how to raise a child. She never said as much. People often describe her as a gentle and kind woman. The gentle and kind of woman who is gracious enough to be completely embarrassed and ashamed for me when I told her I was pregnant.
I don't remember a Mr. Scully.
24 to the day.
It was an evil thing to do in those days. It still is, I guess. It was embarrassing to gentle and kind women when their daughters had children with
No
father
father.
to raise them. The father was a useless bum, very ungentle and unkind, which was the idea at the time.
Kid? I don't want no kid. And I don't have no money for no butcher's job neither.
I don't want anyone touching me.
Well, you could be sure of touching use again neither.
You weren't that good to begin with.
How could you do
Mother.
this to me? What will your father say?
I don't care.
don't care. You should care.
What will people think?
I don't care.
Don't care. Have you been to confession?
Mother.
Have you been to confession?
No.
You will go tomorrow.
Mother.
You will go. I refuse to pay for an abortion.
I don't want one.
I refuse to let you go to school
I
pregnant.
hate school anyway.
We'll get a tutor. It's all over the church.
Why does Grandma say I'm adopted?
Don't care. Who's going to teach Albert to be a man?
That's what my father asked me.
Young lady, don't you walk away. I'm talking to you.
Looking back, I don't know what I would have done differently.
Abortion?
No. No, I don't think so.
You should have been more careful in the first place. It's no excuse.
Thanks for the tip.
You're too young to know anything.
Like you?
What does that mean?
Looking back, I just wish, sometimes I wish I had learned to play the organ. I sit in church and I get so lost in the sound. Waves of sound crashing over me, I almost forget where I am, who I am. Not very religious, I know. I know it's not, I know, but still.
The Scullys came to church every Sunday.
Jesus
They
loves
sat in
me,
the
this
same
I
seats
know,
in the same
for
pew
the
for as long as I've
Bible
been
tells
here.
me so.
In fact,
Little children
Sundays don't
have
seem to
one
be the
wish.
same without Albert
Get
swinging his
some
legs
tuna
and
fish.
his mother in her very best Sunday hat.
Tuna fish sandwich, please.
If I had been one of the lucky ones, my mother would have disowned me, and that would have been that. But no, she used to come over and bring cans of tuna fish as if they were peace offerings. But to me, it was as if I didn't know how to feed my own child.
Fish is good for him.
Oil is thicker. Water's much better for you, Mommy.
She had read somewhere, probably in some dentist's waiting room, about the benefits of tuna as brain food.
It won't hurt him.
I love Grandma.
And whenever she whisked him away, she used to come over and take him without really asking. How many times did I think I would never see him again?
Just for one night. It won't hurt
Did you
him.
really think
He'd
that?
come back,
Just for one night.
and he'd stink for days.
It's good for
Tuna
him.
in his
Tell me
hair,
about the scene.
in his clothes, on his breath.
Tuna fish,
I'd
please.
ask her not to give him so much, and I tried to live with it. I tried
Tuna
so
fish,
very
please.
hard.
Someone has to bring him up, right?
I brought him up just fine. I'm bringing him up just fine.
Of course you are, dear. I didn't say you weren't.
Yes, you did.
Proper mothers stay at home, Albert.
But why, Cherry? I'm at school.
Oh,
then
Albert,
why should
you're
she be
such
at home?
a child.
But enough is enough. I won't have it. I won't have any of it.
I don't remember when he died.
You should.
Standing right
You were
here.
there.
Funny. I have this image of Albert sitting on the kitchen floor, oblivious to
1,
everyone and
2,
everything,
3,
as if those
4,
little tins contained gold.
5, 6.
They were tuna cans, for heaven's sake. But I envied him, even when I was only 12.
10.
Something so simple made him so happy.
10?
I knew I should have thrown those tins away. But after all those years,
Do you want to
I
play
never
a game?
suspected he would try to eat them.
They're my treasure. I kept them in the cupboard, 2 away from
Scrabble.
the fridge. Mom had a
Do
bad
you want to
back.
play fish?
She never had any reason to keep
Hide
anything
and
down
seek.
there.
Cherry.
It's my own place. My own treasure trove.
I love playing games, don't you?
They remind me of the sea. And of very unordinary places.
We rented the house from someone my father knew. The only thing I let my parents do for me. I knew the type of shack we would have ended up in otherwise. The house is beautiful. I couldn't say no, no matter how much I wanted to.
I remember when the moving van pulled up.
I could never afford anything like it, ever.
Mother said the gypsies had come to the neighborhood.
Aren't you kids, Mom?
It was only supposed to be temporary.
I never liked the house.
Don't touch that, Albert!
It was large, and cold, and filled with somebody else's things. I wanted to live by the sea.
It was the only thing I had to give him. A rented house.
In retrospect, she was still quite young when he died.
In a shack by the sea.
It was best for everyone when she decided not to live in the house anymore. I was away at school, and the queer thing was, according to my mother,
She left all of her things, clothes and the like.
All by myself by the sea.
not that she had many things. She just left the key in the mailbox and walked away.
Holy,
Peter.
holy,
While I was waiting
holy,
for Albert.
Lord God Almighty.
I have him cremated.
Early
I
in
put
the
his
morning, our
your
sun
ashes
shall
in
rise
a wooden
to
box
thee.
that I found in your room.
My pencil box. Where I kept my hymn book?
That's the one.
I said he had to wait till he was 13 to join the choir.
I thought about keeping them, the ashes, but I took them and went to Nova Scotia and scattered them over the water. I thought you would have liked that.
I did. It was nice.
After the funeral, while I was waiting for Albert's. My mother put a gloved hand on my shoulder and said to me, she told me in her gentle and kind way that it was better for everyone.
It was better for everyone that he died.
That was the last time I ever spoke to my mother. She was wearing a dark blue suit and patent leather shoes.
The days I hated the most were the days Albert came back from his grandparents. Sure, they were far and few between, but all that came out of his mouth was fish, 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 fish,
And I'd
fish,
be a
fish.
fisherman. That's all I ever wanted to be. Just like my great-grandfather. I'm living in Nova Scotia with my own boat. And
I was
nets,
never told about
hams,
Granddaddy's
all leather
damn
and
boats.
more.
Fingers
Fingers that tasted like salt water and blood.
Salt water. Yuck!
Tough line skin like a mask on my face.
He never wanted to sing Mr. Sun or the wheels on the bus or play I Spy. It was always the
Can't
same.
make a living
I'll
as
be
a
the fisherman
fisherman.
and you
What are
be
they
the
going to
fish.
do when he
I'll
comes
be
to
the
you
fisherman and you be the fish. You have to tell the whole story, Albert. You can't go on and on about being an angel, can you?
I'd be a
I
fisherman.
don't think so.
Living in hip waders, greasy hair, and a toothless grin. And
I'll be just like my great-grandfather. Is there Tuna in Nova Scotia?
He's only 12.
I'm 24. If you had been a proper mother, you would have known and done something.
You are dead. You're 12 years old and don't give me any crap about knowing and doing.
Fine.
I'm here, aren't I? I don't want to be, that's for sure, and I
Fine.
don't need any more than what I do to myself, okay?
Fine.
I'm 17. I babysit 4 times, maybe 5 times a week. I'm saving for university, but my dad's going to pay for me. So I don't really need the money. So I'll probably buy a car.
The girl is cheap. How else could I afford her the number of hours I needed?
Somebody needed to look after the boy.
A couple of times, Albert came to church by himself. Well, not exactly by himself, with his babysitter.
I'm a good babysitter. I like to sing and play games, and I don't take any tomfoolery either. My mother says that. She won't have any tomfoolery in her house, and she doesn't. Children really fascinate me. I want to see how they work. Albert! Some people don't know how to handle kids, but I do. I want to have a lot of children someday. A whole house full. A gaggle full of children. I don't like being an only child. And I'm sure Albert doesn't either. And I'm going to make my husband go out and earn a living.
You say that as if it were so easy.
I want to stay at home with my
easy.
children. No way
So
would I leave
easy.
my children with a sitter.
Cherry says that you're not a good mother.
Oh, does she?
A proper mother stays at home. It's so disgraceful.
Disgraceful, really.
Well, I didn't say that. Cherry did.
And who is supposed to be feeding you while I stay at home? You? We get a paper out and solve all my problems.
Cherry says
Single-parent children grow up deprived.
Deprived of what?
they miss out on all the
Fun-loving family stuff.
Really?
That's what
our
she
mom
says.
says.
Just look at him, Cherry. He's got deprived written all over him.
All over you, Albert.
She gives the streets such a bad name.
That's what she says.
I have to work twice as hard.
And my father says,
What do you expect from trash?
See what
The
your
hell
mother
does he
does,
think
Albert.
he is?
It's my
Who do you think
responsibility.
they are,
Don't you
Cherry?
see that?
Cherry!
Yes, Miss Scully?
Albert has... I would prefer... He's been
Has
saying...
Albert been telling stories again?
I don't
I
tell
just think that
stories.
Don't worry. He won't do it again. Some people don't know how to handle kids, but I do. I'm not afraid to discipline those
Cherry.
snot-nosed, smug-mouthed, fat, bug-eyed, spoiled little...
Cherry!
Well, some children think they can get away with things. The new parenting and all. I believe you can't reason with them. They're only children.
But I was his mother, not you.
Just because you got pregnant doesn't mean you qualify.
Hey!
Who told you that?
My mom, Mrs.
Stop
Shaw,
it.
Mrs. Walker, Mrs.
Cherry,
Hurst,
cut it
Mrs.
out.
Baird,
Just leave
Mrs.
my mom
Johnson.
alone.
Well, it's true. Albert, you are so strange. One moment you're telling her off, the next you're defending her.
Just cut it out.
What's next? Covered scene.
Albert,
No.
you are so strange.
I don't want to.
Albert, you are
Can't we
so
do
strange.
something
May
else?
I continue? Albert, you are so strange. sitting here all alone with your little tin cans.
They're tuna cans, Cherry.
May I see one?
No.
I've been coming here all these years, and you won't let me see just one?
No, you can't take them away.
Let me see one.
No!
I'll ask you once more. Let
No,
me
you can't see
one.
them! Get away from them! Get away!
I see. Oh, yes, Albert.
I thought you liked Albert.
I do. I did. I think of him often.
Why don't you tell the truth, Cherry?
Is that why I'm here?
Why are
So you can
here?
bludgeon some confession out of me.
Do you have something you feel you need to confess?
Not at all. Sometimes we must do what we must do. I pray for you every night, Albert.
You do?
It's very hard work. There's so much to go over.
Maybe. I don't want you to.
You didn't say that.
Why would he lie?
I did
Wait,
too.
wait! Did he say that?
It's not in the notes.
You wouldn't dare. You wouldn't dare mock prayer so.
Oh, yeah? Well, maybe I pray for your death every night.
Albert!
You are so ungrateful. Do you see what you created?
This is my fault. He's
My
dead.
fault.
Unless my
This is your
influence
fault.
over him
Ladies.
years. You are
I
right.
just think
Spoiled
ladies.
right now. Spoiled right now.
Ladies.
My child.
I am a perfect mother. Do you want to know why I stayed? I stayed because of the child.
Nobody asked you to.
You were a child. You were a child looking after a child.
Somebody had to do something.
Nobody asked you to. Nobody asked anyone to help. I did just fine. I could have done just fine without any of you.
You drank in front of him.
One time. That was one time the week before Christmas. I lost my job.
It was disgusting. I never forgot. And I'll bet Albert never forgot either.
You don't know. He was 8.
I was 8.
Ask him.
He was 8 years old. Do you remember?
Of course he
I'm
knows.
asking him. Do you remember?
They say that what happens to you as a child is supposed to last a lifetime. Maybe this isn't a good idea after all.
Albert.
Albert?
Albert?
Albert.
What? What is it?
You know I wouldn't do anything to hurt you. I love you.
Today we played tag. I was it.
You see, it wasn't that traumatic.
I'm tired. So tired. Sometimes I wish that I could curl up inside myself and die. I'm tired of school. I'm tired of defending myself. It'd be so easy to...
How old were you when you wrote that?
12. It was the week before.
Sick.
Don't think Cherry liked me at all.
Why didn't you talk to me?
She didn't even come to the funeral.
Of course I did.
Wouldn't I know?
It was a very long time ago. Maybe you forgot.
When you're dead, nothing slips your memory.
We are gathered here today to celebrate a life.
She could have been too upset to come to the funeral. I remember she
I was very upset.
that night.
I was crying.
I remember her in the kitchen
I
with the
tried
police
to
trying
hide
to
the
hide
body.
the body from me.
I tried to hide
the
you from her.
sergeant just so that
I
you
was
let me
very
go.
upset.
I just wanted to hold you.
You gave that sergeant a black eye.
Yes, well, sometimes you do strange things.
What's it like to be dead, Albert?
I'll be 12 forever. I mean, I'm not really 12 after all these years. When you're dead, you carry the weight of so many people. There's a lot of responsibility in being dead, a lot of hard work.
The Reverend says,
When we die, we will find eternal peace in heaven.
He's never been dead, has he?
Do you believe in God, Albert?
I go to church, and I read the Bible.
I pray for your soul, Albert. My mother says you need a lot of prayer.
Do you pray for my mom, too?
Sure we do.
I remember one day he asked me if I believed in God.
I remember flowers.
Her mother sent a huge gaudy thing.
I never answered.
That's right. She never came to the funeral. I remember watching the car drive away.
She had a date.
Albert.
It was so long ago. I have trouble remembering if I was there myself.
We thought it was best. I was a delicate child. Funerals upset me.
You were 18!
I was delicate.
I never answered. I just said, do you believe in God, Albert?
Even then, I had trouble keeping things together in my head. It was like a fog. wake up, go into your room, and ask you what you wanted for breakfast. You always kept your room so neat. To this day, I've never met a child who's as tidy as you are. Were.
Do
you believe in God, Albert?
Good God, Albert! Doesn't she ever iron?
Today. I think it might happen today. Oh, God.
I had trouble keeping things together
Albert!
in my head. I could always manage the pieces, but when you were a whole
Didn't you
child...
ever read my diary?
Albert!
Well, the police took it away for a
No,
while.
before. I left it for you. It was there.
I read
didn't
it.
know what else
I read
to
it.
do.
I know I did. I had it cremated with you.
Albert, where are you
I
hiding?
know you did.
Come out, wherever you are.
It's just that, Mom. You have
Albert,
to know.
you
You
are
have to
so
see. You
strange
have to.
sitting here.
That's why you're here.
I couldn't.
Let me
No,
see one.
I don't
I'll
want
ask
to.
you once
No,
more.
I'll
Let
close
me
my
see
eyes.
one.
In all the years Albert and his mother came to church, I can't remember one casual conversation with the lad.
Walking by
And now I look out and see so few faces. And I think of his life and how it might have been if we had known him. If we had done our Christian duty to know him
Follow me.
know him
I will make
as
you
our
fishers
Lord
of men.
God knows him now.
All right. Now.
Sherry? What's the matter? Why are you looking at me like that? I'm sorry I spilled it back. Really? Sherry, don't! Ah!
Albert Scully, does anyone have anything they like to say about the boy? Well, Albert, I'm so glad we got together today. This gives me a chance to reiterate a few things for you.
Mama?
She was just as bad. She was a
knew.
bad
I
mother.
never knew.
I
I
didn't do
never
anything
knew.
wrong.
I
I
swear
did
to
it
God
all
on
for
my
you,
feet,
Albert,
I
and she
never
looked
knew.
the other way.
Mama.
Albert Scully, does anyone have anything they'd like to say about the boy?
There aren't any kids on my street,
Anyone.
except for Cherry. She's too old, I think.
The gypsies have come to town.
Mrs. Scully?
I have nothing to say.
Nothing? Are you sure? I was 18.
He was lying on the kitchen floor.
Sometimes I like being alone. Sometimes I feel like the alone is lying on top
Miss
of me.
Scully?
Like the heavy itchy blanket on my mom's bed.
Some children need to be taught.
I knew as soon as I saw him.
I hear people say my mom's crazy.
As soon as I heard the cupboard door open, Mrs. Scully?
I just wanted to hold him. His shirt was all wrinkled.
I'm the one who's crazy. I don't fit in anywhere.
I knew where he was and what he was doing.
What happened to Albert?
I knew they were expired.
The tile on the kitchen floor feels so cold.
I never thought to check the expiry dates.
And I can reach the cupboard door from here.
But I never thought. I never thought.
Miss Scully? You don't wish to say something?
I have nothing to say.
In retrospect,
He was your child.
I know he was.
I should have checked. Some children need to be taught. Some children need
It's
to be
been
taught.
so long since I counted my treasures. It stops my hands from shaking.
He was a
Sick
sick
boy.
boy, and
It
she was no better. I did things,
always stops my hands from shaking. Today it was
and I knew no one would ever
shaking
count the cans.
after,
Why should they?
after,
The doctor said it was suicide.
after.
Albert, Mommy's tired, okay? She needs to be alone. And he would always kiss my hand. and
No
try to
one
lock
ever
her
checked
good-
on Albert. Ever.
After.
Police cars. All the people. What? He was lying on the kitchen floor. On the floor. All alone.
And no one else wishes to speak? All right then. This concludes the service for Albert Scully.
Why did you do this? Why did you have to bring all this up? I had put you in the back of my head just so I could live my life. Don't you think? Don't you know I wake up gasping for breath, drenched in your sweat?
I needed to.
Needed to?
Why don't you just shut up? You have no right to say
Well, excuse me. I think the record is clear on who has what right. Why didn't you tell? All you had to do was tell.
No one would have believed me.
Oh, Albert.
Well, I guess you're right. No one important would have believed you, 'cause I would have said you were lying, and that would have been that.
I wouldn't have left you with her.
I thought I could handle it. You were so tired and so young.
Something had to be
You
done
were always
with you.
talking about how poor we
I
were.
would have done something. I would have found another way. I would have done something.
But you didn't, Mom.
Time. Are you just about done, Albert?
I guess so.
I have to pick up dinner on the way home. Are you satisfied?
I would have done something.
Wasted time. I can't believe all the dust. This suit is never going to be clean again.
Mom,
You can't go back. You can
you
never
have to
go back.
finish.
Mrs. Scully?
Yes, all right.
Finally.
He's just had his 24th birthday. I don't drink anymore because I get horrible nightmares, drenched in sweat. My hands still shake sometimes. Memories from my fingertips.
I'm 24. My hands still shake sometimes. You don't forget anything when you're dead.
I don't count birthdays anymore.
This concludes the service. I wish there was more to say. I want there to be more to say. I just can't.
In all my years, I have 2 children who I like to sing and play games with. I love having children.
In all my experience, I just don't want to leave the boy this way.
It's the best thing that can happen to a woman.
I work in a library in a small town in the prairies. I tell people that all my family died in a fire many years ago. Come all you fair and
I live in
tender
a shack by
girls
the
and
sea
flourishing and from.
with the fisherman named Jake.
Beware, make
His
regarding
fingers
marriage
smell
no
of salt
man's
water and
right.
blood.
Holy,
Played his favorite hymn at funeral